Hi everyone, Bear from Bear Reads Books here for another mystery box reveal. If you haven't seen the previous video, mystery box reveal number 1, we had a look at my boxes in the garage that will soon be in the brand new library, which will be built in another couple of weeks. We randomly drew from a collection of torn up pieces of paper from the numbers of the boxes, and we drew number 10 out of 11, and number 10 had some absolute gold in it, some fantastic books, and I'm going to do another mystery box reveal today. So here we go. So if you trust me to do it off camera, all of the numbers 1 to 11 except number 10 are in this beautiful blue vase. Going to draw one out now to see which box we reveal. Good luck. The winner is number 1. Whew. Excellent. This is so exciting. Okay, at least number 1 was on top of a pile of boxes, so I didn't have to dig or lift heavy things except box number 1. Okay, so I've had to go out on location for the reveal of the books because my house got very noisy very quickly. So I've come outside. It's a little bit windy, so you might still get some noise, but much better than at home. So if you remember, we chose box number 1. Not a huge amount in this box. I think over time I've cracked this box and taken stuff out, put different stuff back in. But right at this moment it has some great and interesting things in it. Not least of all, a standard Greek dictionary. Greek, anyone? I'm not sure why this is in my collection. It may be my wife, who speaks 3 or 4 languages, I forget, which means she has dictionaries like this all over the house where she's looking up words in different languages. It may be that. Which would also explain the Teach Yourself Greek book. We have a book about Japan. I don't know whether I've told you this before, but I used to live in Japan. It's where I met my wife 20 years ago. It's where we went for our 20th wedding anniversary in September last year. And I've got all these old guidebooks for Japan and how to speak Japanese and all those sorts of different things that you gather up when you live in a foreign country. One of the lesser known Stephen Donaldson books, The Daughter of Regales. So you might have seen Steve Donohue's videos from last year with Brian from Bookish, where they read the Stephen Donaldson Thomas Covenant The Unbeliever series as a buddy read. Fascinating. That series is a fascinating series. This is not particularly a fascinating book. It stands outside of that Thomas Covenant universe, but still an interesting tale, I guess. And it is his first collection of short fiction, so it doesn't quite gel. He's more of a multi-book, grand and epic fantasy novelist. So to come out with a slimish book with short stories in it didn't really gel with fans. Dan Brown, The Da Vinci Code. I don't know what that's doing there. A few textbooks. Not only did I study literature and history, I studied, and I think I've mentioned in other videos that I studied literary theory, critical theory, and as well as that history, modern history. And there was my last book review was a book about analysis of ancient history, and it was thoroughly uninteresting to me. Sorry about that, Thomas, my friend that gave it to me to read. But in here I got lots of modern history, national fictions, literature, film, and the construction of the Australian narrative. Fascinating. Language, its structure and use, and 20th century economic development in Australia. So, and another dictionary, Japanese English dictionary. So down to the interesting things, what I have found in here is Solzhenitsyn, the Gulag Archipelago, Volume 2. Never read either volume. I'm not even sure whether I have volume 1 anywhere. It's kind of one of those books that I pick up and go, oh yeah, I've never read that. I've never read Solzhenitsyn, I've never read Gulag Archipelago, so I buy it as a second-hand copy and then never read it. I don't know why it's so intimidating. Anyway, another language book. Look, goodness, this is a mixed bag. Living German, which is another one of the languages my wife speaks. Tom Jones by Henry Fielding. Again, another book I haven't read. I really should. It's a big one though. Let's find some non-fiction here. Won't be a second. Goodness, what a load of rubbish. So there was a period when I wasn't as committed about my reading as I am now. And I really just read whatever, intermittently. Sometimes I would have a book, sometimes I wouldn't. People would give me a book and I'd read it. Or I'd just pick up any old piece of trash and read it. That kind of falls, all of these kind of fall into that category. Here's the official autobiography of In Excess. Here is the official guide to the X-Files. Another Japan, Inside Japan. A Japanese phrase book. Gordon Ramsay's Playing with Fire. Some of these are actually friends and family who thought, oh, I'll buy that, Brett would like that, and I get them as gifts. Honestly, really. You know, you cook one meal for someone, you get a Gordon Ramsay autobiography. Or you say how much you like one In Excess song and you get a In Excess autobiography. This one I do like, Malcolm X, The Harvard Speech, is an excellent book. Yes, very, very good. And I have come back to that a couple of times to reread Malcolm X speeches. I don't know. Master the Art of Selling. I've never been a salesman. I've never actually had a job where I needed to sell anything, so I'm not entirely sure why I have that book. And another language one, Learn Gaelic. Of course, why the hell not? Let's talk about a couple of other things. So, another one I said I've always wanted to read and never have, Samuel Pepys. So, diarist, letter writer, never read Samuel Pepys. And I have read this, Michael Ondaatje, The English Patient, and I've read his new one, Warlight, and kind of like that. Back when this came out, which was probably, I don't know, 1992, maybe, 1992 Booker Prize, this was the book I disliked most, and it probably turned me off reading Booker Prize books for a decade. I really didn't like this book. I really thought it was the most uninteresting piece of drivel I have ever read, and I still kind of think that. And then it was only reinforced by the movie. So the movie came out, which people raved about, it won Academy Awards out the butthole, and then that was the most boring piece of drivel I'd ever seen. So it kind of turned me off the Booker for, I'm absolutely telling the truth, a decade. This book, Michael Ondaatje's The English Patient. Maybe I should go back to it, give it another shot. It's obviously got some sort of redeeming features. I don't know. More Thomas Covenant. Goodness. Tolstoy's War and Peace. Oh, look at that 1970s cover. Tolstoy's War and Peace Volume 1. Awesome. With his tight pants and his long boots. So 70s. It's fantastic. So, Betrayed by Rita Hayworth. This is something I don't remember buying, I don't remember owning, I don't remember reading, and I don't think it's something my wife would buy or own or read. By Manuel Puig. I'm not sure, I have to check the pronunciation. Manuel is one of the most consistently interesting novelists to have emerged anywhere during the past 10 years. In a small town where nothing ever happens, the future is often the same as the present, and the past all but forgotten. The women talk about the movies they've seen, the actresses they'd like to be, the actors they'd like to love, and one young man plans how he'd handle Rita Hayworth so she'd never betray him the way she'd betrayed everyone else. I still have no recollection of this. It was obviously a long time ago. I bought brand new at Kmart, of all places, for 20 cents. I may have bought it secondhand from somewhere else, but the very first person to buy this purchased it for 20 cents from Kmart, brand new. Author of Kiss of the Spider Woman, of course. That's why I bought it. Okay, now I remember. Has anyone read Kiss of the Spider Woman by Manuel Puig, or seen the movie, the fantastic movie called Kiss of the Spider Woman, with Frank Molina and John Hurt, William Hurt, the other Hurt, William Hurt and Frank Molina. Oh, it's so good. About being in a Brazilian prison. Such a good film. Such a good film. I'll put a link down below to some information about Kiss of the Spider Woman, but I'll probably never read this thing. That's about it for this book. Another really good hodgepodge of stuff. So many languages. What the hell? So many languages. Thank you for visiting with me. Thank you for going through that box with me. That was really good fun. I may try another one in a few days and we'll be back again. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I'll talk to you again soon. Wherever you may be, have a wonderful day. Thanks. Bye.